welcome to InstaGATOR number 5. InstaGATOR number 5, where we take a look at a weekly rant, something that's on my mind, something that has been gnawing at me, something that grinds my gears, something that you bring up, whatever it is, right? That's what InstaGATOR is all about. InstaGATOR to change, right? Today is going to be today's going to be a little different, right? I'm going live over here on one stream, so if you see me looking over here at the screen, that's why. I'm not ignoring you. I do want to give you the attention that you deserve. But today we're gonna take a different approach. Today we're gonna get a little personal. I'm gonna talk about something that I know a lot of people struggle with. I know a lot of people battle with. I know a lot of people fight with this internally. It's one of their demons, and we're going to talk about it because it's also one of mine, and that's anxiety. Not a lot of people know that I struggle with anxiety. My wife knows. She deals with it a lot. It's something that I've kept bottled up for years and years and years. But lately, it just seems like it's getting a little worse. Seems like it is kind of overcoming, and it's funny. Over the past probably week and a half, it kind of really took foothold into my life. So a quick recap over the past week and a half. I did a lot of traveling with my job. We had to travel overseas. We hit like 4 countries and 4 hotels, and I think it was 8 days. Um, I I don't do well with traveling, right? I get really anxious when it comes to traveling. My anxiety really kicks up, packing and all this other stuff. And I don't know why, but when I do, my stress levels go, they go out the roof, right? And the funny part is we literally just got back from traveling Friday night. Saturday, I ran all the way about 3 hours away to see my kids' lacrosse game, to celebrate my middle son's birthday. Happy birthday, Nick, man. I love you. He's turning 16. So that was how my Saturday went. And then today I came back and I'm preparing to travel again, right? So basically, in the past 3 weeks, I'll have traveled for pretty much 2.5 of them. And that really kind of increases my anxiety levels. So I'm kind of freaking out knowing that I have to pack and I got to do all this other stuff. And, you know, it's hard for me to deal with, right? So I really feel for people out there. Like, I know if you're listening right now and you struggle with anxiety, I want you to know that, you're not alone. As I was traveling last week, um, one of the things that kind of got to me was, you're in a new place, you're uncomfortable, you don't know what's going on. Um, Traveling already takes a lot out of you. Being on a 9-10 hour flight takes even more out of you. There's pressure and stress that revolves around going through airports and all this other stuff. And I mean, I found myself just pinging, right? I was kind of getting a little bit into my emotions. I found it very difficult to wake up in the morning and go to the gym. I struggled a lot with my diet and how I wanted to eat. And I was just really battling my anxiety over the past week and a half. And I'm fearful that it's going to continue as I travel this next upcoming week. And, you know, I wanted to do this InstaGATOR for 2 reasons. One, just to kind of open up and kind of be a little bit vulnerable and share with you kind of some of the things that I go through and I deal with, but also to help other folks out there that are struggling with anxiety as well, that may find difficulties in dealing with day to day life, especially when their anxiety levels start really peaking. And they find it hard to cope or deal with life as it comes at them. And I just wanted to talk about maybe two or three things that I try to do that I have found that helps me deal with my anxiety issues. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to keep compartmentalizing my anxiety, and I don't want to keep kind of stuffing it down to the point where it really starts impacting my mental health. It starts impacting my mental well being. It starts impacting me as a husband, as a father, as a son. It starts impacting me and how I lead others. So I've tried to come up with kind of a handful of ways. I've Google searched ways to deal with anxiety. I'm not really big on the medication piece of it, although I do think I'm going to take the next step and kind of start talking to somebody about my anxiety issues. But some of the things that I started kind of recently doing is first just accepting the fact that I know I'm going through anxiety issues, or I know I'm getting to that kind of panic attack kind of mode. It's kind of just accepting the uh, the fact that I'm kind of going through it. Um, Diva, thank you for chiming in. Um, I definitely will help that out. Coloring, a lot of people do that. A lot of people do the kind of stress coloring. That's really a good one. I have heard that before. So thank you for that, Diva. I greatly appreciate it. Um, the, Accepting the fact that I'm going through this, like not running from my feelings, but kind of embracing them and acknowledging them for what they are. Okay, I feel myself getting anxious. Why am I getting anxious? What am I doing right now? So kind of accepting the fact that I'm anxious, I've found to help me. It helps me kind of work through it. It helps me kind of accept it and not kind of brush it off until it gets too bad that I can't handle it. Um, I also started, and this is going to sound weird, I also started questioning my thoughts, right? So when I get anxious, my brain starts working in hyperdrive, right? And I found that what I end up doing is a lot of negative self talk. I'll end up beating myself up, or I'll end up always looking at the worst, right? Or being a pessimist, if you will. So I've really started uh, questioning my own thoughts, packing. Like as soon as I'm done with this quick hugs back to you, Diva. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I do greatly appreciate you giving me some of the things that work for you, and I promise you I will utilize those. So thank you. Um, I end up questioning this negativeness, right? So I know I have to pack after I'm done this, and I got to prepare myself and for the traveling next week, and I'm gonna, oh, you're gonna forget this, or you're gonna forget this, or you're gonna go there and not be prepared. And I'd really take a step back and I start questioning that. Like, look, I've packed for a million trips before. I understand how this works, right? You're not gonna forget something, or I'll question, oh, well, you're gonna go on this trip and you're gonna mess something up, or say something you're not supposed to, and I'll start questioning that thought process. Like, will you really? You know what you're talking about. You're confident in what you do. Why are you allowing yourself to talk that way? So questioning my thoughts has really helped me, because what it'll do is it'll help me uh, start bringing in that positive self-talk, if you will. It kind of negates the negative self-talk and allows the positive self-talk to kind of overtake it, and to understand that no, I do know what I'm doing. I do know how to get through this. and things like that. So that's one of the things that has definitely started to help me. Uh, Diva chimed in again, and she talked about, sit down, take some time, take a deep breath. It's funny, that is probably the go-to for what I use. You know, just to sit there and to take a deep breath. They told you, when you used to get mad or angry, try counting to 10 or something like that. That's honestly what I do when I feel myself starting to get worked up or get very anxious, or, the negative self talk coming in. I'll just take a deep breath, right? And it's during this deep breath that I start accepting the fact that I'm getting anxious, acknowledging the fact that I'm getting anxious, and then trying to, at the same time, talk myself down, you know, calm myself down, and going back to what I know is truth, what I know is fact, right? That I am going to be okay. Things are going to be all right. Um, One of the other things I do is that I focus on the kind of right here, right now. So I'll kind of ground myself. So when I feel myself getting really anxious, and I feel myself kind of peaking at that point where my breath starts picking up, and I start getting really nervous, and I start getting really anxious, and I feel like I'm gonna have a panic attack. I focus on the right here and right now. I focus on the what am I feeling? What am I doing? How does the room feel? How does the clothes feel on my body? How does the floor feel underneath my feet? How is my breath? You know, how is, the sounds around the room? I will literally ground myself almost to a meditation state. Thank you, Diva. Signing off. You'll be back. Got paperwork. Oh, look. Got to get that paperwork done. I completely understand. So get to it. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great one. But yeah, I'll really start grounding myself almost to the point of meditation. Um, this usually helps, but when you're going through, an airport, or when you're sitting at your job and the stress levels start to increase, it's sometimes hard to do this. So I have to be in the right mental state or the right situation or time frame to do the grounding work of it. But I do try to ground myself and really take in all that's around me. And that I've realized has really, really helped me out when I'm able to do it. Um, Another thing that I do to kind of combat my anxiety is I focus a lot on self care. People always give me a hard time, because, the way I do my hair and, blow dry my hair. I'm very meticulous when it comes to my hygiene. I'm very meticulous to the way, I look at my uniform or how I dress, or because these are all things that I can control, right? These are all things. So I practice a lot of self care because the things I can control, I want to control. And I feel like when I have those in line, in lock and step with who I am, it lowers my anxiety levels a little bit. I do try to eat as clean as I possibly can. Usually, when I fall off the bandwagon or I start traveling down a path in my diet that I'm not particularly proud of or care for, that only increases my anxiety, right? It's kind of like one of those emotional eaters. Like, I eat because I'm emotional, but I'm emotional because I eat a certain way, so it's kind of like that vicious cycle. Who was it? It was Austin Powers, I think, was that was that line. Um, but so I do try to use the discipline to eat kind of healthy. Um, Another thing I do is I open up to not a lot of people. So the fact that I'm doing this is terrifying. The fact that I'm opening up to my anxiety issues um, on YouTube for a lot of people to listen to is kind of terrifying for me. But I do. There's a very few select individuals that I talk to about my anxiety and how I struggle. A lot of people know me as, strong, confident, motivational, charismatic, and all this other stuff. And I found myself trying to kind of hide or shelter this this portion of my life that I deal with, and it only makes it worse. Um, so I know there's a lot of other people out there listening right now that do the same thing, that try to pretend to be stronger than what they necessarily are. Um, and I want you to know that I've done that for so long that it hurts more in the long run, right? Because what I haven't done is I haven't expressed kind of what I'm going through and maybe haven't gotten the help that I need. My wife, man, Sherry, she has been phenomenal when it comes to trying to help me out, to limit my stress and to limit the anxiety that I face on a day in and day out basis. Um, so she has been an absolute godsend. I don't know where I would be if not for her, because she is the not only the yin to my yang, but she is the stability when it comes to my life. So she has done tremendously, and the two or three other people that I've kind of opened up to about some of my anxiety issues have really taken the time to listen to me and to hear me out, which honestly means a lot. So if you are struggling with any kind of anxiety or anything like that, um, open up. Don't feel like you have to fight this alone. Um, Another thing I do is I try to get rid of clutter. Right, I'm partially OCD. Uh, Everything has its own place. Everything needs to be in order and needs to be in place. When it gets out of order, look, that that contributes to my anxiety levels. But decluttering for me um, does help my anxiety. Before I pack tonight, I will literally do all laundry. I'll fold everything. I will put everything away, and then start packing, right? Because I need to know that I have everything in order. So decluttering does help lower some of my anxiety levels. Uh, Another thing that I do is and this kind of ties back into the self care, is I do take time for me. Probably not as much time as I should, but I knew that these 3 weeks of traveling were going to be really hard on me mentally. We're going to be really difficult for me on a stress level and an anxiety level, that once I get back from this next trip that I'm getting ready to go on tomorrow, I have scheduled a week of leave, a week where I'm just going to step away from work and kind of regrip and refocus myself. I'm going to allow myself to kind of take a breather, to get caught back up with life. I'm going to really invest a lot of that time in family and in my mental health and mental well being. So I have kind of scheduled my downtime when I can. I've strategically scheduled my downtime for after this kind of 3 week hopping all over the world travel tour that we got going on right now. So that has helped me tremendously. So for those that do struggle with anxiety, make sure that you focus on that self care. Make sure you focus on not only getting taskers done, but building in and prioritizing your self care. Like self care shouldn't be a luxury, it needs to be a priority. And when you prioritize it for yourself, I, I think you'll see the benefits of that going forward. And to be honest with you, I take self care so seriously and kind of prioritize it so well. I think that's how I've been able to function with my anxiety for as long as I have. So make sure you kind of take that and use that. A few other things. I do have a gratitude journal. I think focusing on the positive in life helps me deal with my anxiety. Again, when I start getting anxious, I start a lot of the negative self-talk, a lot of the self-doubt will start rolling around in my mind. And practicing gratitude, I have a gratitude journal where I write down things that I'm thankful for. Um, that helps shape the narrative in my mind, which helps me deal with anxiety. Um, I do also find myself getting around people that I know are going to breathe life into me, that are going to breathe positivity into me. I'll just reach out to a friend, or me and Sherry will go out on a date or something like that. That usually helps with a little bit of my anxiety. People that are going to help pull me back, ground me. Um, Exercising. Um, this is probably the biggest struggle I have, because when my stress levels go up, my discipline and desire and motivation go down. Although I know exercising helps me deal with anxiety, it helps me relieve some of that stress, some of that pressure, some of that built up kind of energy. So it is a battle. Sometimes I have to really focus on uh, getting to the gym, doing the things that I need to do, because I've never regretted a workout, right? And that's what I have to constantly keep reminding myself. I will say over the past, week and a half or so that I've been traveling, I may have gotten 2 or 3 workouts in, which I know has not helped with the anxiety and the issues that I'm facing right now. Um, Other ways, I think talking about it like I'm doing right now, I think is going to help out a lot. And there's a lot of people that struggle with this, that get anxious, that uh, don't know how to deal with it, right? Or don't know the avenues to go to, or honestly are too afraid to even ask for help. And I think, or I hope really, with me kind of opening up to one of the things that I battle, I hope it gives somebody out there listening right now the strength to kind of reach out and ask for help. Again, like I said in the very beginning, we're not in this alone. We don't have to do this alone. Nobody is so strong that they got to feel like they have to attack life alone. It doesn't have to be that way. And to be honest with you, it shouldn't be that way. Life is hard enough as is. It's not meant to be a solo flight. So get you a wingman, get you somebody that can be in your corner, get somebody that you can open up to, that you can kind of talk to and be vulnerable with, somebody that you trust. Talk to somebody who gets it, right? Talk to somebody who struggles with the same thing. Um, if you're struggling with any kind of anxiety issues, or panic attack issues, or stress level issues, man, reach out to me. Um, it's obvious right now for all you listening and all you tuning in, watching this YouTube video, that I too struggle with it. So maybe we can help each other out, and in those times of needs. Maybe we can be accountability partners to one another. Uh, I'm kind of scrolling through to see some other things that help control anxiety. You know, have a bath. Man, I couldn't tell you when the last time was I actually took a bath. maybe I need to. Not I shower. I bathe, right? But I'm talking about an actual bath, like a relaxing lay in the tub bath. Man, I hope y'all don't think I don't shower now. I do shower. I take my hygiene very seriously. um, Here's another one. It says turn off your phone. I can see that, like kind of decompressing and turning off your phone from time to time. I'm sure helps lower that. Like it's kind of that instant satisfaction, that instant gratification that we all kind of go through and struggle with from time to time. I can see how that can increase anxiety. Um, it talks about eating healthy, cutting down on sugar, breathing. We've already kind of touched on that. Drink less caffeine. That's probably one thing I need to do. I do power through some caffeine. So if that's going to help me um, limit or lessen my anxiety levels and some of the panic that I face, then maybe that's kind of what I have to look into. Um, Avoid procrastination. That's a good one. Um, Putting things off to the last minute always kind of raises stress levels. I can definitely see that. See that a lot of these that I'm reading point to medication. I, I don't want to go down that route, which is why I'm kind of afraid to talk to a mental provider about it. Although I know I probably need to. Um, yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to travel down the path of medication. Not until I exhaust all other options. At that point, if I don't feel like I'm making the progress that I need to, then maybe I will travel down that route. But that's, to me, any kind of medication is going to be a last resort. I know a lot of people are on medication, and I'm not knocking you for it. If it's helping you, I'm 100% on board with whatever you need to do um, to help your mental health. But for me, it's just I want it to be one of the last options that I look at. I do want to try some of these other options to see how it goes. Um, but other than that, that's kind of it. That's the instigator for the week. I really just wanted to kind of open up and be vulnerable. I know that there's a lot of people out there right now that are struggling with anxiety the same way I do, that struggle with panic attacks the same way I do, that struggle with self-doubt and negative self-talk the same way I do. And I know a lot of people that are listening right now that are going to watch this video that know me are going to be really surprised. But uh, it's time I opened up about some of the things I deal with, because I'm tired of kind of holding them all in and pretending to be stronger than what I really need to be. So I hope you got some out of this. I hope for the folks out there that are struggling with some of the same obstacles and issues that I struggle with, I hope some of the things that I do to help can help you. But if you have any thoughts or ideas or anything that works for you, feel free to reach out to me. Hit me up on any of my social media avenues. Leave a comment on this video. Because again, we're in this together, right? Nobody has to face these types of things alone. So I want you to know that I am here for you. And in turn, I hope you are here for me. This is InstaGATOR number 5. I look forward to speaking with you next week. If you got a topic, if you got an idea, if you got anything, right, send it my way. We can talk about it. Other than that, I hope you have a phenomenal week. Keep jamming, keep going on, and understand that not a single one of us are alone in this. Take care. Have a good one.